In this installment, we're going to be going over the MLB bet slate for Thursday, June 27th. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to bring you the winning ingredients for our June 27th MLB slate we got going on for Thursday. But before we deep dive into that, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MetsNetsJetsD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about that Patreon. Right now, we're at the homepage of the YouTube channel, currently at 6.43 thousand subscribers. The goal is 10K, and we are well on our way. Thanks to you guys showing up and showing out each and every day. All right, so continue to like and comment everyone that's already subscribed. That helps the YouTube algorithm so we can grow to a broader audience. If you're not subscribed right now, you guys are absolutely missing out on the community that we're building on YouTube and on Patreon as well. All right, and speaking of that Patreon, so far there's a lot of early games this Wednesday, and we hit off to a really solid start here. This was the community parlay. I usually give like a nice little double up there. Philadelphia Phillies, Kansas City Royals, that came through. Also, we had some other parlays that came in the chat. Mariners, Phillies, Brewers, Astros, Royals. This particular person took some of my plays and some of his plays, put it all together, and he came out with $10 wager, $131 cash right there. And then I took advantage of the first three games that those came through: Mariners, Pirates, and Phillies, 20 for 134. So some solid wins there. If you want to get connected to this Patreon and to that chat that's in the Patreon link as well, you got to sign up down below. Down below, you will be directed to this page you see here. It automatically displays all available sportsbooks in your area, plus their current promotions. For example, you could take the plays given in this video and apply it to any other sportsbooks you don't currently have and reap the rewards. Now let's get into the slate. First game on the slate here, we have the Chicago Cubs, 37-43, going up against the San Francisco Giants here, 38-42. Current odds right now, we have the Chicago Cubs slight favorites here, -115 on the money line, with the comeback of the Giants at a -105. The total is set at a 7.5. The pitching matchup, we're looking at Shota Imanaga, rookie pitcher coming over from Japan, going up against, 7-2 with a 2.96 ERA and a 1.1 whip. He's been phenomenal coming over. Going up against Jordan Hicks, 4-4 with a 3.24 ERA and a 1.28 whip. All right, so he hasn't been too bad as well. All right, so looking at the Imanaga side here, he's been pitching better on the road with a 2.60 ERA, so that's a benefit there for the Cubs. And he did just get lit up by the New York Mets in his last start. He gave up 10 runs in that game, okay? So that was a pretty big blowout spot. That was kind of due because he was like almost untouchable coming up until that game against the Mets there. Maybe this is going to be a wake-up call. This is a perfect spot for a bounce back for Imanaga. But the issue here is one thing you do got to take when you're looking at the Giants here. This is a top 4 team in the league against lefties. Imanaga is a lefty, so maybe it goes into a second game. He struggled against the Mets. Now he struggled against the Giants. Both of those teams are strong teams against lefties, so definitely take that with a grain of salt, okay? We'll keep it in as a nugget, excuse me. Now, Jordan Hicks on the other side has been very solid this year at home. He has a strong ERA, 2.86 ERA at home. He does struggle to lefties, though. And we're looking at his whip. It's a 1.63 whip. And an xFIP, his expected numbers is at 5.02. So those are some of the concerns when you're going up, when you're looking at Jordan Hicks and the lefties he's going to have to face. This game here, usually in San Francisco, I don't tend to go towards overs here. I'm going to believe in Imanaga bouncing back from that bad performance against the New York Mets here. This is a different type of lefty that the Giants haven't seen yet. All right, this is a guy coming from a different country. They have not seen Imunaga yet. So I'm gonna go with the Cubs here on the money line. I think Imunaga bounces back, has a strong pitching performance here. And also with Jordan Hicks, I don't expect him to give up that many runs as well, how strong he pitches at home. So I'm going to go towards the under 7.5 as well. In the Citizens Bank Park here, we have the Philadelphia Phillies, 53-27, going against the Miami Marlins, 28-52. Looking at the current odds right now, big favorites, Phillies minus 290. With the comeback of the Miami Marlins at a plus 240, with the total set at 7.5. For the pitching, the probable pitchers here, Trevor Rogers, who is 1-8 with a 4.90 ERA, 1.55 WHIP, going up against Zach Wheeler, one of their studs here in the rotation, 9-4 with a 2.73 ERA and a 0.96 WHIP. All right, so Trevor Rogers is a lefty who is expected here. He's going to see his expected numbers versus righties are a big concern here. He's getting up a lot of power to righties as well. And Phillies are top 6 in the league against lefties. All right, so if we're looking at the total average of this current constructed Philadelphia Phillies team going up against Trevor Rogers, they hit him well. They're hitting him for a 271 batting average and 2 home runs. So all across the board here, the track record of Trevor Rogers, the history, what he's doing right now, there's major concerns when you're going up against a red-hot Phillies team. And then Zach Wheeler, on the other hand, he has some slight raised numbers at home. His home ERA is at 4.13. So if you want to get towards Zach Wheeler or get to the Phillies team, you got to at home, Zach Wheeler is a little bit vulnerable, all right? Lefties have had a better opportunity hitting him. The 261 batting average, that's not too bad, but that is the raised number here. He's been very strong against righties, but that 261 batting average, a 1.3 WHIP, and the xFIP is at 4.29. All right, so lefties in that Miami Marlins lineup have a better chance here to get towards Zach Wheeler, but I think it's just too much where you're going up against this team here. And we got the better pitcher on the mound, and Trevor Rogers is a complete gas can. So Philadelphia Phillies on the money line, I would highly consider them minus 1.5 since they're coming back home in this spot here. And I'm going to go towards the over 7.5 runs. I really do think the Philadelphia Phillies bats get to Trevor Rogers. Next up in Oriole Park here, we have the Baltimore Orioles 49-30 going against the Texas Rangers 37-43. No current odds right now for this particular game. So I'm going to just give you what I think. I'm going to predict the line for you with this matchup between John Gray and Corbin Burnes. Most likely, with Corbin Burnes on the mound, this is going to be around that minus 200 range with the Baltimore Orioles favored, and the comeback of the Texas Rangers around that plus 190 range. All right, and I'll give you the over/under set around 7.5. All right, so especially with how these two pitchers have been pitching, they've been pitching very strong. And you don't really see totals around that 6 range very often, so I'll give them a 7.5. For the pitching matchup, John Gray 3-3 with a 3.03 ERA, a 1.23 WHIP, and Corbin Burnes, ace elite pitcher here, top of the class, 8-3 with a 2.35 ERA and a 1.01 WHIP. All right, Corbin Burnes has been absolutely phenomenal yet again this year, coming over from Milwaukee to the Baltimore Orioles here. And he's just been absolutely elite. No blemishes that I can talk about here. John Gray is going to be the issue for this matchup in this game. Despite the fact his ERA on the road is at a 2.20. So very strong on the road. He does have some issues against lefties. All right. And the Baltimore Orioles have a ton of lefty bats. And they're a very hungry team here. All right. So we're looking at the lefties. He's given up a 1.14 home run per 9, a 276 batting average. The WHIP is at 1.61. And the xFIP is at 4.44. So across the board there, a lot of question marks here. And he's going to see 6 lefties in this batting order that he's going to go up against for Baltimore as well. So this spot here with Baltimore already on the losing streak, coming back home, this is a very nice spot with their ace on the mound. Give me them on the money line. Give me I'll take the over on the total because I think they get these bats going over 7.5. And if you want to take that -1.5 for the Orioles as well, that's going to be at a nice plus price. In Rogers Center, we have the Toronto Blue Jays 36-43 going against the New York Yankees 52-29. Looking at, well, there's no odds yet again for this game. I'm going to give you another prediction on the odds here. I'm going to give, this might be around that 115. So I'll say, no, it's going to be, the record is a little bit lower. Yankees are going to be road favorites here, -140 or 140 to 150 range. And you get the Toronto Blue Jays at a +120. The over-under for this particular matchup is going to be around 8. So 8 over-under. And Yankees at a slight favorite on the road. Pitching matchup here: Carlos Rodon, lefty, 9-4 with a 3.86 ERA, WHIP at 1.21. Jose Barrios, 6-6 with a 3.43 ERA and a 1.13 WHIP. All right, so Carlos Rodon has been really bad this year. I don't know, it's the home road splits. All right, so horrible this year. At home, he's been bad, and on the road he's been bad as well. So 6 ERA, a 6.15 ERA at home, and a 7.63 ERA on the road. So absolutely horrible. It doesn't matter if he's home or on the road. He's been giving up runs. So this should be an inflated ERA. It's most likely going to turn to that very, very soon. And if we're looking at his numbers versus righties, he's given up a 2.04 home run per 9. A 274 batting average, a 1.49 WHIP, and the xFIP is at a 5.35. So that does not bode well for the power righty bats that the Blue Jays have. Jose Barrios, on the other hand, he's been solid this year, better at home with a 3.30 ERA. But you do have to watch him against lefties. His home run per 9 is at a 1.49, and the WHIP is at a 1.32. All right, he did have back-to-back bad outings, but that was against the Cleveland Guardians, who have the #1 record in the league right now. So that's going to be understandable. But this is going to be another tough test here when you're looking at the New York Yankees, and they have hit him well if you're looking at the BVP. So this game here, I'm going to be taking the over and whatever the total that they announce. If it's 7.5, if it's 8, give me the over in this particular game here. I don't like the numbers I've seen from Carlos Rodon. And Jose Barrios against lefties are going to be a little bit of a question mark when you're especially going up against this Yankees lineup. So give me the over as my top play, and I would slightly lean towards the Yankees on the money line. I expect the later that round of, inning 5 to 9 that the Yankees get going against the bullpen. Hopefully they get to Jose Barrios early and score some more runs. So money line Yankees, but the top play, give me the over 7.5 to 8 runs. At Busch Stadium here, we have the St. Louis Cardinals 40-38 going against the Cincinnati Reds 37-43. We have some odds for this line here. Cardinals are slight home favorites, -135 with the comeback of the Cincinnati Reds at a +115, and the total set at 8.5. All right, pitching matchup here: Andrew Abbott, 6-6 with a 3.40 ERA, a 1.18 WHIP. Miles Mikolas, 6-6 with a 4.68 ERA and a 1.16 WHIP here. Andrew Abbott. The only positive thing with Andrew Abbott is because the St. Louis Cardinals are second worst in the league against lefties, and Andrew Abbott is a lefty. But and that's a big but. Andrew Abbott is not a good pitcher. On the road, he's a 4.29 ERA on the road, and he has a big issue against power righties. All right. Right now, so far this year, he's given up 14 home runs to righties. All right. And he's given up a total of 15. So it's all righties. So we're looking at Arenado, Goldschmidt, all these guys that have power that he should be highly, highly concerned about. And they are in very good spot in this particular game. If we're looking at Miles Mikolas, on the other hand, he has a 4.81 ERA at home. Lefties are the best way to get towards him. Lefties, he's given up a 270 batting average, a 1.30 whip, and the xFIP isn't too bad at 4.11. All right, so not egregious numbers, but it's not as bad as what we've seen out of Andrew Abbott. And you're looking at the Cardinals' power bats here. I think it's going to justify the fact that this line is in favor of the Cardinals, and I'm going to be rocking with them in this one here. Give me the Cardinals on the money line. Give me the over 8.5 runs. I expect the bats of the Cardinals to hit home runs against Andrew Abbott, and I do expect Cincinnati Reds to hit Miles Mikolas, who has struggled at home with a 4.81 ERA at home. In Kauffman Stadium, we have the Kansas City Royals, 44-38, going against the Cleveland Guardians, 51-26. Current odds right now, Cleveland Guardians are slight road favorites, -120, with the Royals on the comeback as an even, with the total at an 8.5. The pitchers on the pitching mound for this game: Ben Lively, 7-3 with a 3.03 ERA, a 1.16 whip, going up against Michael Wacha here, 4-6 with a 4.07 ERA and a 1.22 whip. All right, Ben Lively has been horrible this year. All right, he is even worse on the road with a 5.90 ERA, and he has another, just like we talked about Andrew Abbott, Ben Lively's home run issue is even worse, and that it's against lefties and righties. Okay, so lefties hit him really good with the power here. 2.64 home run per 9 he's given up to lefties, and the batting average is at a 296. All right, so egregious numbers there. The whip is at a 1.58, and the xFIP is at a 5.03. So across the board here, if you want to get towards the Cleveland Guardians, your best chance is to be, hopefully, Ben Lively's pitching against you, or Carlos Carrasco. Those have been the two worst pitchers in the rotation for the Guardians. And on the other side here, Michael Wacha, he's been serviceable this year. Gives up most of his runs to lefties, so that's the main concern there. Right now this season, he's given up 25 earned runs to left-handed bats, and he's going to see 6 lefties in this lineup. So something's got to give in this matchup when we're talking about how bad Ben Lively has been, and the fact that the Guardians are going to throw you probably a whole batting order of lefties. So my favorite play here is the over 8.5 in this game. If I have to choose a winner, I would slightly lean to the home team here. I'll give me the even money here, or the underdog in the Kansas City Royals in this spot. Last but not least, in Angels Stadium here, Angels 32-46 going against the Detroit Tigers, 37-43. The current odds for this one here, Detroit Tigers are -165, with the comeback of the LA Angels here at a +140. No information on the total as of right now. That's because of the pitching matchup. We got Jack Flaherty on the other side, 5-4 with a 2.92 ERA, a 0.97 whip. He's been absolutely phenomenal this year. In his last 5 starts, he's only given up 4 earned runs and 36 strikeouts. So he's been top tier. Him and Tariq Skubal have been aces for the Detroit Tigers and in the whole entire league. All right. And then the other end here, we have Davis Daniel. So this is another minor leaguer. If you paid attention to that Wednesday video, I talked about how the Marlins were starting a minor leaguer no one has ever heard about. At least Davis Daniel has some stats in the minors. I had to look him up a little bit. His ERA in the minors is a 5.33 ERA, and the whip is at a 1.50. So this is essentially another bullpen game here. You're going to see Davis Daniel go for a couple innings, and then they're going to go to that bullpen. Mind you, this bullpen is being used today on Wednesday as well. So that's going to be a cause for concern. And the fact that this bullpen is second worst in the league with a 5.12 ERA. The only fact that they're surviving right now is because they're going against the Athletics. So that's a little bit more understandable here. That's going to be a little bit of facade when you're going to be against the Detroit Tigers, who are much better offense. Not that better, but they are a better offense there than the Oakland Athletics here. I love the spot that we have for Jack Flaherty against these Angels bats. I love the fact that the Detroit Tigers offense going up against the Angels bullpen. So give me a full sweep here. Detroit Tigers on the money line. Give me the Tigers -1.5. And I will take the under in the total, whatever the total decides to open up as. Probably 7.5 in the 8 range. I would take the under in this total here. The fact that Jack Flaherty pitches so strong, and this could be a one-sided game here when it comes to runs. All right, so those are going to be our selections for the Thursday slate. Let me know in that comment section down below. What are your thoughts? What are your plays for Thursday? Do you have any props that you want to talk about? Let me know down below. If you want to sign up for the Patreon, get connected with the future bets, with the daily bets, and with the community chat. That link is provided down below, and I'll be back with another video very soon. All right, peace out, guys.